Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and just before we get started, remember to like, subscribe, and don't forget to turn that post notification bell on so you can be here for every single upload. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay guys, so today we're going to be talking about all 7 of the UK amphibian species, and starting off with number 1. Okay guys, so for number 1 we have the common toad, and these guys are, as they say, very common throughout the UK, and they usually like to spend most of their time away from water, except when they're mating, spending much of their time in woodlands, gardens, hedgerows, and grasslands. They like shallow burrows they return to after eating, and overall these guys are just pretty cute looking. They're found almost everywhere except for the Scottish Islands. But these guys have a strange mating thing where there's usually one female and several males that try to impregnate the female and fertilize the eggs. And it starts off as something like this, and then once they lay their eggs, they lay them in strands, unlike frogs which lay them in clutches. These toads lay them in strands, so long string-like structures, and that's it for the common toad. So yeah, moving on to number 2. So number 2 is the common frog, again as with the toads, pretty common, and these guys will be found almost anywhere where there's a suitable breeding pond or puddle nearby. They like to breed in shallow water, anything from ponds, lakes, canals and puddles in urban areas. And if you want to help these guys out, a great way to do so, if you have a garden pond, it's a great way for them to be able to further expand their population. And that's what it goes from tadpole to froglet. Anyway, but that's it for the common frog, and let's move on to number 3. Okay guys, so for number 3 we have pool frogs, and these guys are found in areas like ponds and slow-moving canals or rivers, also found in marshes. These guys actually were thought to be extinct in the mid-90s and were reintroduced from the still prevalent populations in Europe. But these guys are pretty cool. They have kind of cheek pouches which they make their croaking sounds from, and each frog and species of frog has a distinct call. So these guys are pretty cool, and moving on to number 4. Okay guys, for number 4 we have the natterjack toad, so another species of toad, and these guys prefer to live on more sandy, sand dune-like areas along the coast, and unfortunately they are a threatened species due to a loss of habitat and urbanization. But these guys, as you can see, have very large croak pouches, and that means that their call can actually be heard up to 2 kilometers away. So yeah, pretty loud little toads there, and I think these guys are a very beautiful species of toad, and we're lucky to have them here in the UK. But unfortunately there is only 60 sites where they can be found across all of the UK, so search them up, and if they're there, have a look. Number 5. Okay guys, so for number 5 we have the smooth newt, and this is the most common species of newt across the UK, and these guys aren't endangered or anything just yet, so they can be found pretty much everywhere: Scotland, Ireland, England and Wales, all over the UK. And the males start to develop a crest in the breeding season, as you can see here, and once that's happened and they've had their babies, they tend to lay eggs on the underside of water-based plants, so any lily pads or anything, they'll just fold over the leaf and lay the egg underneath. Number 6. Okay guys, so for number 6 we have the palmate newt, and these guys are cool because they can be found pretty much everywhere, just like the common or smooth newt, but they can live in drier conditions. The only place they're not really found is kind of northern and central England, but these guys are found pretty much everywhere else. They prefer more acidic soils, so that's one of the reasons that they're not found in central and northern England. But these guys are pretty cool. As I said, they can survive more dry climates. Obviously they still need to be moist and damp, but yeah, these guys are the palmate newts, a pretty cool species in my opinion. And without further ado, we'll move on to the last species of newt. Number 7. Okay guys, so for number 7 we have the great crested newt, which is the rarest species of newt on this list, and these guys are found widely distributed across the lowland of England and Wales and parts of Scotland, but this distribution is extremely patchy and they're pretty hard to find usually, so a much rarer species, but have disappeared from many sites in Europe completely. So if you see these guys, you're very lucky. They can be pretty easily recognized by the large kind of white stripe going down their tail, and in the males in the breeding season have this lovely crest, and so if you see that, you know it's the great crested newt. Okay guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've learned anything, please hit the subscribe button, leave a like and comment so we can beat the YouTube algorithm. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.